in Game 2 today against the Munster Mustangs. But for our first game, Crown Point and Hammond Central, Doug, both these teams have had drastically different seasons. The Crown Point Bulldogs ranked in the top 5 in the state. They're 20-1. They've won 6 in a row. And during that 6-game winning streak, Doug, their average margin of win has been 35. All this after their loss here at home against 21st Century Charter.
Yeah, we were here for that game. We had that 21st Century game, and they were kind of going through the motions. They kind of got caught in the trap, and I'm sure, you never want to lose a game, but I'm sure, it was a non-conference game. I'm sure Coach Swan was, okay, guys, hope this got your attention, and apparently it did with these spreads we're seeing.
You've watched this Crown Point team a couple of times this year, Doug. What has made them so good and such a threat to go deep into the tournament once again?
Well, I think they can score at every level. They can get to the rim with Shaw inside and the guard play. I love the flow. I love they can also mix up their defense. They can play a rock fight game, or they can play a full court baseline to baseline game. So I think they have a lot of weapons that can score, and they defend very well. So they're primed, and it's hard, Andrew. It's hard to have that bullseye on your back. They're the team up here in the region that a lot of people think might make that trip down to Indianapolis this year, and that's not easy. It's kind of being the hunter or the hunted, and I'd rather be the hunted, and and you kind of fend everybody off. So it's going to be a tough challenge.
They've came close the last 2 years, make it to Indianapolis, both times losing to Fishers. For the Hammond Central Wolves, they went 4-18 this season, and they're in the midst of a 7-game losing streak, most recently dropping a game by 22 points against Valparaiso. And, Doug, they have some pretty good scorers in Silent Porter and Samaj Davis. But other than that, they're going to need some production from one of their role players.
Yeah, they are, and they're going to have to do a lot of things right tonight in order to keep it close. You cannot, Crown Point, as we said, they like to get out and run, Crown Point, and you got to control the basketball, limit the live ball turnovers, because Crown Point will feed off of it. But take care of the basketball and don't let the moment be too big. Coaches in the locker room saying, no one gives us a chance, guys. Let's go. We got nothing to lose. Go out there and leave it all on the floor.
We will step aside for a quick break as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Have you heard? Stratton-Manteau was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Stratton-Manteau.
Headquartered in Griffith, Indiana, Absolute Power Systems has been delivering top-notch service since 2004, with a team of skilled technicians boasting extensive training on some of the biggest names in the business, like Cummins, Caterpillar, John Deere, Volvo, and more. They focus on providing exceptional industrial engine service and generator power system maintenance and repair. Check them out on the web at AbsolutePowerSystems.com. Absolute Power Systems, powering your business absolutely.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work. You're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Sometimes the hardest part of improving your business isn't coming up with a great idea. It's knowing what to do with it. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services is ready to meet all your industrial and commercial construction needs. Whether it's a small build-out or a complete construction project, Chester will design, build, and finance. Our team eliminates multiple contractors, providing you a single point of contact while staying within your budget. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services, turning your ideas into realities.
Located in the heart of downtown Indianapolis, the newly renovated Hampton Inn is within walking distance to over 30 restaurants and attractions, including Lucas Oilfield and Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a fitness center. Why wait? Make your reservations today. Call 317-261-1200 or make them on the web at hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.
The Game Night Forecast is brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Tonight's forecast, 68 and humid. And Doug, you and I were talking about it. It's very humid in the gym too, and that could lead to the floor being very slick, so something that both teams have to be aware of.
Yeah, you can feel it up here. We're a little closer to the vents. They're trying to move the air, but it does affect, and like I said, it'll feel like a summer game. It'll be so hot. And the guys got to stay hydrated, especially with a big game tomorrow night as well.
So time to break out the pickle juice, and hopefully no one has any cramps during the game. That's the Friday night forecast brought to you by Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. Andrew Mild with Doug Nelson. And Doug, for the Crown Point Bulldogs, they've been led by their senior class this year, but led by the UIC commit Dikembe Shaw, who comes in averaging over 20 points.
Dikembe's he'll be an Indiana All-Star, and he's got a bright future to the next level. And he's, like you've said it a little bit earlier, he's a man among boys.
Yes.
He can score at will at the three levels. So he's trying to make a message too. You want to make a message or send out a message to the rest of the state and say, hey, I belong on that All-Star team. So. I look for him to really have a bust-out game here tonight.
Going to the other side for the Hammond Central Wolves, Silent Porter, just a tick under averaging 15 points per game. The way he does it, Doug, he's a fantastic shooter, shooting 34% from behind the arc this year.
And I think he'll get shots. The way Crown Point plays defense, they really sell out and deny a pass away. We'll see if they hedge toward him or, try to, we used to call MD, make him drive. Make him put the ball on the floor. But I think he'll get looks with the defense of Crown Point.
Another player that has really stepped up, and something that you and I haven't talked about, this Crown Point team is incredibly deep. They have three guys that can come off the bench and produce, that being Caden Rhodes, Reed Kagi, but MJ Wilson had a huge game against Valparaiso where he scored 33 points. And the way he's been doing it, he's hitting threes, and he is athletic as a sophomore. He's been throwing down dunks.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys. They have so many weapons, Andrew. And, and Mason Darrell, who's, I think that if you ask him, he's kind of underachieved this year. And I don't know if he's trying too hard, but he's a dude, man. I mean, he's been in a lot of talks for Indiana All-Stars. So, the dudes come out to play at this time of the year.
Darrell, a D1 commit to go to Bellarmine. Sag off him. He's going to make them pay. It is time for the national anthem. We'll step aside. We'll come back with starting lineups and the opening tip from Crown Point High School as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Old Man Winter is just around the corner, and that means temperatures will soon begin to drop. And a region winter is not the time to be left out in the cold. The professionals at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling can tune up that old furnace or install a new unit that can last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable this winter, and with 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, 219-923-4441. Or for more info, the website is forajobdoneright.com.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
When it comes to your money, you deserve more than just numbers on a page. You deserve someone who sees the full picture. Meet Mark Machnick, one of Northwest Indiana's most trusted accounting professionals. Whether you're running a business, planning for retirement, or just trying to make sense of tax season, Mark Machnick, located in Highland, makes it simple, personal, and believe it or not, painless. Contact Mark and his team today at 219-595-5290. Mark Machnick, CPA.
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.
We'd like to remind everyone that tonight's video stream is powered by Absolute Power Systems in Griffith, providing exceptional service for industrial engines, pumps, and generator power systems. For more info, visit AbsolutePowerSystems.com. Absolute Power Systems, powering your business absolutely. Andrew Mile with Doug Nelson as we are getting the starting lineups of the Hammond Central Wolves, and they are coached by a Hammond Hall of Famer, Jermaine Boyette. And Doug, he had himself an incredible career.
Yeah, even at the Division I level, as you mentioned, he was averaged 19 points a game at Weber State and had a good run. So kudos to him and want to come back. And, you know, there was a lot of articles and press about him coming back and rebuilding Hammond to where it was. And, if the guys listen to him, no better example of what can happen if you put the time in.
Just got the starting lineup for his team. We talked about Silent Porter, but Samaj Davis also had a good year, averaging 12.6 points. They also have Sean Garcia, Jaleel Powell, and Zaire Taylor starting in this game. And now they're going to announce the starting lineup for the Crown Point Bulldogs. And that will be Kingston Rhodes, Mason Darrell, Bryce Peters, Dikembe Shaw, and Cooper Molansky. And Doug, we watched this Crown Point team a few weeks ago when they took on LC at their home gym. Kingston Rhodes came back, and he looked like he was playing at 110%, and he really just puts the bow on top of this already complete team.
Yeah, he's hard to keep in front of you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He can get around you. He can score over you. Again, he's just one of those guys, and he's a good facilitator with the basketball. He's safe with the basketball, makes good decisions, and he's one of those guys that's just a blessing to have for Coach Swan.
Coach Swan in his 20th year as head coach of the Crown Point Bulldogs already won the DAC championship outright at 7-0. First time in the school's history they accomplished that feat. And in this tournament, they'll look to win their third in a row, something that Crown Point has never accomplished in boys basketball. Starting lineups have been announced. The 10 starters on each side, referees in position. Doug, it's time for some Hoosier hysteria on this gloomy Friday evening.
Yeah, again, like we said, between tonight and tomorrow, what an exciting time for Indiana high school basketball. It's what it's all about. It's what it all comes down to.
We will also be covering the Valparaiso and Hobart game in Sectional 2. So that's good to have a couple of multi-screens, be able to watch two games at once. As the tip is won by Dikembe Shaw, tips it backwards to Kingston Rhodes, the point guard of this Crown Point team.
It's like Hammond's in a little 2-3 zone. It's a 3-2, but it'll morph to a 2-3 when the ball gets to the wing.
Crown Point known for their patience as Shaw lets the first one go and misses the three. Mulaski keeps the possession alive. Rose will try his hand at a three, and he'll make it.
Yeah, and again, we say it all year, that's the problem with playing his own, is you kind of lose guys when it's rebounding time.
Cooper Mulaski, that unsung hero of this Crown Point team, he won't fill up the cup, but he'll attribute in different ways, that being rebounding, defense, block shots. As he's picking up Davis by the timeline.
He plays stronger than he looks, too. You know what I mean? He's long, does the dirty work down in the lane.
Helps he's also a quarterback for the Crown Point football team as Rhodes tips a pass out of bounds. Decent crowd filtering in, trying to get through traffic and the weather conditions over to Crown Point High School.
Yeah, I think I saw Noah's Ark on the way here. It was pouring.
It was finally 78 degrees, and then you saw what happens usually in Northwest Indiana. The weather tends to change pretty quickly.
Yeah, if you don't like it, just wait a minute.
Well, I like the weather. That was the problem. Taylor, by the volleyball line, skips it over to the other side to Davis. Long possession here, but no shot attempts for Hammond Central. Not really penetrating this Crown Point defense. Mulaski sticking with his guy. Shot rolls off the iron, and Mulaski corrals the rebound.
It's outlet.
Darrell, no hesitation. His three is just short. Another offensive rebound for Crown Point. Shaw, nothing but net. Second possession in a row where Crown Point got a second chance look and made Hammond Central pay.
Yeah, again, that's you have to limit their extra opportunities. If you want to keep this game close and make it a four-quarter game, you have to, they're doing a good job controlling the clock on the offensive end.
Yes.
No shot clocks yet, but, that's another topic. But you see Crown Point coming out trying to speed them up a little bit.
You saw how slow that last possession was for Hammond Central. That is not what Crown Point wants to see. As Doug said in the pregame show, they like to get out and run, especially after a poked ball away. This team racks up a lot of steals, averaging just under a dozen a game.
Yeah, and that's if you're Hammond, you cannot turn it over here tonight.
Pointer was in a tough spot, able to locate Sean Garcia in the post. Back to the top. Got to give kudos to Hammond Central. They're trying to get their best chance look.
Yeah. Keep it close for as long as you can if you're Hammond. That's how you stay in the ballgame. That's a recipe there.
Tough spot. High arcing pass, Taylor. Now Pointer being guarded by Mason Darrell. The D1 commit, 3-and-D guy for Crown Point. They're also very athletic.
Nice
Drop down
dump.
pass, Mulaski. Looks like he might have gotten a piece of that one. Second chance look, it rolls in as Jaleel Powell picked it up off the floor.
That's good penetration there by Hammond Central. Again, I think that's what they like. I mean, they're going to try to kill some clock and try to shorten the game a little bit. And, as long as it's a 1 or 2 possession game, you're able to do that.
3 minutes into this sectional game, and it's only a 6-2 score. Rose open on the back cut, bad pass, saves it for Peters, and Peters powers through the contact and one.
Yeah, he did a good job of seeking out the contact there. He did a little double up and under kind of move, but he went into the contact and not trying to avoid it. And that's what I like there.
Bryce Peters, a transfer from Maryville High School, a senior, jack of all trades for this Crown Point team. His free throw rolls off. Now a 6-point lead for Crown Point.
Little half-court trap.
And a bad pass. That's exactly what Crown Point is looking for.
Yeah, but at least it's a dead ball turnover, Andrew.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're not often running on an advantage play.
A lot of teams have found out what happens if Crown Point can get those steals. Mason Darrell goes baseline and finishes with the offhand.
Nice left-hand finish there by Darrell.
Mason Darrell averaging 13 points this season. And he tried to get the steal and got caught with the hand in the cookie jar. It would be a foul.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
No.
Just contain, right? A lot of times people think you get the steal on the trap, but you get the steal on the pass out of the trap. Kids have a tendency to get a little excited on the ball, and that's where you pick up those traps or those fouls.
Now Peters with some tenacious defense, contact below,
Yeah.
and it rolls down.
When you're running that half-court trap, you can't let the ball be penetrated through the chute there, Andrew, right between the elbows. We've said that before, but you got to make them pick one side or the other, and Hammond's doing a pretty good job of penetrating and finishing in the lane.
Now, a few times where it's been Samaj Davis being able to penetrate that Crown Point defense, and it's led to Hammond Central being able to find the scoreboard. As Davis misses the and one opportunity, Shaw tried to force it to Mulaski, and Hammond Central tipped it away. And Pointer going for the loose ball, and he was out of bounds when he had his hand on it, as Mason Darrow was able to jar it loose.
Yeah, your concern for Coach Swan is the longer you let Hammond Central hang around.
That's true.
You don't want this to be a four-quarter game. You want to leave no doubt. And as you've said,
Darrell from the corner, can't get the roll. Shaw off the top shelf, back out, Rhodes, and he rattles one home. That's the third time where Crown Point's missed a three, cleaned up the glass, and gotten it out to someone on the arc to hit the three.
And they say that's the best time to shoot the three off an offensive rebound like that.
Powell's pass sails over the head of Garcia. And a lot of coaches, Doug, that we talked to this year talking about Crown Point, they fear that one long run for CP that tends to bury a lot of teams.
Right.
Mulaski saves the pass.
That's a foul.
Darrell gets hit. Darrell finishes. Mason Darrell to the line for one.
Nice, strong, again, with his offhand. Nice finish. I'm really into those. I've been the last couple weeks, Andrew. Our girls' season finished. I've really been into paint touches lately. Get the ball inside. As I mentioned, I like watching Arizona. I like watching UConn guys play. Get the ball inside and be very physical. And I've said it all year also. That's where the game is won or lost. In the volleyball line and below, in those trenches, kind of like an offensive line, in football.
Yeah, we talked about how Cooper Mulaski is a good scorer and defender, but also he's a good passer.
Oh, gosh. He's
out of the game now. MJ Wilson is in, the sophomore to really watch out for. He's really turned into a solid sixth man for CP.
Okay, that's just another attribute to their depth, right? I mean, they're so deep.
Taylor off the back iron. Darrell rebound. Darrell penetrating, and there was a reach. Be a foul on Hammond Central.
Another paint touch, though. I'm going to say that a lot tonight, Andrew. Paint touches, good things happen. The defense has got to collapse and reach a lot of times, quite often, and just like it happened there, and get downhill and get to the rim.
The one thing we haven't noted is just how much taller this Crown Point team is than Hammond Central. So them attacking down low could generate offensive rebounds.
And
Peters.
It also wears on the other team's defense.
Wilson can't get the shot to go. Ball being tipped around. Peters soars in for it, and Bryce Peters floats it in.
Nice attack. They were playing aggressively. A little 2-2-1 look now.
And that's why you bring in MJ Wilson, who's more athletic than Mulaski, a little bit quicker and a little bit longer. Ball out of bounds, a Hammond Central turnover. As Powell hit the baseline, and we will have a substitution. Caden Rhodes coming in for Crown Point, and Mitch Daniels for Hammond Central.
It's interesting, you got their first five with Mulaski, who's as good as anybody, when they're in their first five. But when you got these other guys coming off the bench, it's a different energy.
Yes.
It's a different speed a little bit, and that's not a knock on Mulaski whatsoever. But it's just a different energy, and it's a little more up pace.
This line's a little bit faster. It's gone to a small ball look. Shaw is playing the center.
Yeah.
Kagi cut, and Shaw tried to go to him. Hammond Central was prepared.
Sorry, Andrew. It's more of a 5-out look.
Yes. They want to spread out the Hammond Central defense, and it has to be really tough for the zone to try and guard if you're spread out like that around the perimeter.
A lot of slashers.
Defender falls down. Peters in the lane. Rhodes with a high arcing shot finds the bottom of the bucket. 16-point lead for Crown Point with less than 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
Still trapping. Keep the pressure on. There it is.
It's a steal by Rhodes. And Hammond Central, with that second effort, will regain possession deep in their own territory.
That's the kind I know they're up 20-4, but that's the one that'll Coach Swan will be. I saw. Kind of looked at his reaction, like you gotta be stay sharp. You gotta do the little things right and take advantage of those steals.
And Wilson had a loose ball and got rid of it too quickly to Rhodes. Wide open for three. Powell hits the top of the basket, so he'll be out of bounds.
Hit that strap.
It's too much on that one. It's been a bit of a stalemate for Hammond Central the last few minutes. Crown Point took care of business against this Hammond Central team back in January, 81-42. As we said in the pregame show, this Crown Point team has been playing a lot differently since that loss to 21st Century.
Yeah, that definitely got their attention, and they're in a little 4-high look now. Somebody at some point will slash down.
Rhodes going for a new play. Peters to Rhodes to Shaw. Shaw into the corner, and foul on Hammond Central. Looks like they pinned that one on Jaleel Powell.
Yeah, that's a really good play with Shaw at the high post there, and number 4 Michael Wilson in the post. I mean, so when Shaw gets it in the top of the key there, Wilson would dive down to the corner.
Getchin shoe on the inbound to Kembe. Shaw fills up the cup for his second three. 23 points now for Crown Point. They are leading by 19. Going to the final minute. Daniels. Davis. Risky pass. Pointer keeping the possession alive. Almost an over and back. Has to save it again.
Yeah, he's kind of flirting with that half-court line, aren't they?
Hammond Central is speeding up, and a wild shot. Davis can't convert the look, and someone lost their shoe. Reed Kagi. Shaw, pull up three. Can't get the friendly roll. Rhodes corrals a rebound. Peters, mid-range jumper, and Crown Point can't miss right now.
Love the mid-range game, Andrew. Elevate and shoot over your defense, right in his face.
Between the mid-range look and an offensive rebound by your shortest player on the floor for CP and Caden Rhodes, listed at 5'9". Crown Point has built a 21-point lead with 12 seconds, and right now it's a Reed Kagi right shoe malfunction that has led to the pause in the game. Got doubled on it there for the junior. Crown Point going with a loose press. Daniels works around Wilson, safely to the other side. Pointer from way downtown, no. And at last touched a Crown Point defender. Hammond Central will inbound it from down low with 2.3 seconds. Wait for someone to be the inbounder. Be Daniels. Corner, another three being hoisted up, and it spit itself out. It was halfway down, but no luck for Davis. First quarter comes to a close. Crown Point leads by 21 as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT. On-Site Generator Solutions is a locally owned and operated power partner for Northwest Indiana homes. With over 14 years of experience, they handle tasks such as generators, residential electric, plumbing, automotive care, and more. You can find them on Facebook. Give them a call at 219-516-6800 or search them up on the web at onsitegeneratorsolutions.com. On-Site Generator Solutions. Power you could count on every time, everywhere.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Police Department are proud to support Crown Point athletics and say go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Crown Point during the annual lighted nighttime parade downtown. The festivities kick off with vendors downtown at 3 p.m. Tuesday, March 17th. The parade begins at dusk. For more information, visit crownpoint.info/St. Pat's. Andrew Mild, Doug Nelson, second quarter starting. CP leading by 21. An early shot goes down for Jaleel Powell.
Yeah, Crown Point came out a little half-court man-to-man there, and nice aggressive move there by Hammond Central.
Jack Lux, his first shot on the night. Too much mustard on it. Rhodes saves a rebound. Darrell attacking the paint, back out. Lux, second chance look. Won't miss that time.
We said it before, if he has the last name Lux, he's got the green light.
How many three-pointers have been drained by Crown Point after a offensive rebound?
But I also like the paint touch there by Mason Darrell.
Yes. Little in and out game.
Yep. Nice going off 2 feet, under control.
And right now you're starting to get a look at some of the bench mob for Crown Point. Only 2 starters out there, Mulaski and Darrell. Hammond Central had some early success with Davis, and a over and back was called.
Yeah, the great ball pressure, keeping them in front and being annoying.
MJ Wilson's been tenacious on defense.
That'll get you minutes, right? That'll get you on the court.
It's a good start.
Nice short corner look.
Darrell gets 2 players to go right on by. He lays it up. And
nice.
There's, again, one of those paint touches, Doug.
Yep, nice clear out there. Nice set play right there.
24-point lead for the Bulldogs. Daniels, crossover. Davis getting into the paint. Ball ripped away. Corner 3-pointer. Short. It will be Crown Point basketball. Don't forget, it's a doubleheader on the Region Sports Network tonight. After this one, we will have Lake Central taking on Munster in sectional championships tomorrow. Hold, and that's on Daniels. That's his first foul.
It's kind of like the second game. It's kind of like a blue blood
Yes.
game. You know what I mean? Lake County blue blood, traditional powerhouse programs, and
yeah, I read this stat. I couldn't believe it. In the 19 years of the NCC, 17 conference championships won by Munster. They won their 9th in a row. Good ball movement leads to a bump and a bucket for Mason Darrell. Now, a few times now, Doug, where he's been left unattended right underneath the basket.
Well, I like when he catches it. He doesn't panic. He doesn't just throw it up. He does a little head fake and kind of a little hesitation. Gets the defense off their feet. So that's a senior move there.
Spoken like a true coach, Doug.
Yeah, I love that patience down there. You know, that's you mentioned all the seniors they have. That's good coaching and good listening.
That will put Mason Darrell up to 10 points on the night. A Hammond Central turnover, looking to get rid of that ball as quickly as they could before the trap came. And Dikembe Shaw has been called back into the game. And now we have 4 out of the 5 starters for CP. The only bench player right now is Jack Lux.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it. I imagine that they'll play, the first half, the starters, and then Coach Swan will get them out, maybe get him to play the third quarter a little bit and then get him out. That's what I think.
Right now, Coach Swan can smell blood in the water. He can go up by 35 before halftime and have a running clock in the second half. And that's when you would get those bench players out there, give some JV guys some opportunities to play.
And you also get some rest for your horses, right?
That's true.
Tomorrow night's going to be a battle.
Especially at home. Davis with the head fake and then drives with the left hand with the finish.
Nice left-handed pass.
Shaw open from downtown. No roll, and Crown Point is cleaning up the glass.
Yeah, Darrell's really working hard.
Darrell with 10 points. He's the leading scorer in this game. Shaw with 6. That's 2 3-pointers. CP hasn't had to rely on their leading scorer this year in this game. And that's always a good problem to have. Tipped pass by Daniels. It rolls out. Crown Point regains possession on the side out.
Yeah, Crown Point's going to get back in that 4-high look. As I was saying earlier, that makes the defense make a decision. Makes that bottom outside guy choose, am I going to guard the post diving or am I going to guard the corner?
That's a football pass. Lux 3 rolls off the rim and away, and Lux had the ball and dribbled it on the baseline.
Had the rebound, another offensive rebound for Crown Point, but you got to grab it with two hands.
Always.
You can't catch it off the dribble.
2 hands for security, 1 to show off.
Sounds like you've said that a time or two.
Mostly about dunks, especially
Yeah.
last year with how good that East Chicago team was.
That was fun, huh? Electric.
This Crown Point team got some guys that can fly, and I can imagine if Hammond Central has some opportunities to throw it down, we'll see some ferocious ones. Taylor, spin move, floater, and that's a nice take by Zaire Taylor.
I think that was a great decision. He could have stopped and shot that from the elbow, but again, another paint touch, got the ball inside and got the Crown Point defender off his feet. Nice patient move.
Rhodes attacks the paint. Shaw, Lux from well behind the line, and he flushes it down.
Nice ball movement for Crown Point.
36-10. And a timeout called by Hammond Central. It'll be a 30-second timeout. So we'll stay right here. Be sure to stay connected with all things Region Sports by supporting and following us on social media. We're always active on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, and online at regionsports.com. Celebrating over 25 years, we're proud to still be the only game in town. I'm Andrew Mile, Doug Nelson joining me. And, Doug, there's some really good teams up here in the region that have a chance to go down south and play in Indianapolis for a state title.
Yeah, there are. You know, we have one of them right here, Crown Point, and as well as Couts at the 1A level, undefeated, number 1 in 1A. And in 2A will be 21st Century. I think they're going to be a tough out in 2A basketball. So we got a few options that can make that run. We always run into teams at that semi-state level, Andrew.
Yes.
That's, Crown Point, for example, had a roadblock there last couple of years. So we'll see if somebody can get past that level.
Foul on Crown Point. They thought they had a steal, although kickball is what they called.
It's a kickball. Called it from the baseline.
Coach Swan wasn't happy about that.
Yep.
And once you start talking about those Circle City teams, that's when you start to see some of these region teams struggle a bit. Fishers has only lost 1 game in the last 2 years, and that was a state championship game last year.
Yeah, again, I think we saw it tonight. I think it was like number 2 and number 4 or something like that were playing each other. Maybe 1 and 3. Pike and Plainfield are playing each other tonight, and a sectional. I mean, it's a tough level of basketball for us up here to get through.
Mulaski traveled. He was too wide open was the issue.
I was thinking, man, he's going to do a Dr. J dunk from the volleyball line.
And Mason Darrell found him wide open, striking down the lane. You kind of saw that hesitation from Mulaski. As he looked up, no one was there, and then he took a few extra steps. So let's put it that way. We'll make it a little nicer for him.
Yep.
Daniels has his shot rejected by Dikembe Shaw. Strong take down the lane by Kingston Rhodes and a blocking foul.
Yeah, the Hammond Central got a little too far under the basket and tried to take that charge a little too late, but a good aggressive move there by Rhodes and just rim to rim, and he's got all the weapons on the perimeter. If he had to dish it out, he could, but that's what you tell your point guard, go till they stop you.
Yes. That's why you usually hear coaches yelling, stop the ball.
Stop the ball, exactly. So you want to put your head down, get to the rim, north-south. That's what he did.
Rhodes can't get that ball to climb over the rim. As we said in the pregame show, Kingston Rhodes was out for 9 games, and he had an explosive game against Hamilton Southeastern, a pretty respectable team down south. We scored over 20 points in that contest, and they brought him back in, and the thing about Rhodes, he shoots the ball extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
But then once he hits a 3, I guarantee you the next possession, if he catches it, he'll do the head fake, and then that's when he can go into shifty Kingston Rhodes. And as you said, very hard to stay in front of him.
And he's strong.
He's strong.
He's strong. He plays through guys. And then, like you said, he makes good decisions with the basketball. So what a treat to watch here for the Bulldog fans.
Kingston and Caden both have offers to play together, one of which at Manchester University. Speaking of Rhodes, Rhodes is hit. Rhodes kisses it off the glass. He'll go to the line for an and one.
Yeah, that was an example of that strength, right? He's playing through it, and just an aggressive, strong move.
And hopefully Silent Pointer, is okay, as he jumped up for the high pass and saved it, and as he did, he hit the hardwood pretty tough.
Something you and I don't have to worry about is getting that high off the ground.
No. He'll stay out there. Hammond Central has some pretty tough kids on their roster. They're down 30 with 2.5 minutes to go. Don't forget we have a Commissioner's Corner for you at halftime. We'll be back to dissect the first half, get you set for the second, and tell you about some of the awards we'll hand out at the end of tonight's broadcast. Bryce Peters called for a hold.
Such a fun time of the year, man.
It is.
Like you said, I need 5 monitors. There's some good games around, and of course, all around the state, but especially up here in the region. They're just so much fun tonight.
Well, I tell you what I was doing on Tuesday. I was checking the Strachan Van Til hometown scoreboard to see the different scores from around the region.
Yeah.
What a rejection!
Don't do that. Don't taunt. He called it off the Crown Point kid, but nice block there by Hammond Central, number 21.
That was Kyrese Turner.
But he kind of stood over him for a second. You don't need to do that. You just play basketball. He does great block. Yeah, I was watching the Chester and Portage game Tuesday night.
It was a pretty close game until the end, right?
Yeah.
Scoreboard doesn't really do it justice. I believe it was a 10-point finish. Ooh. Travel called. But if I had favorites for sectional 1 and 2, it would be the two teams that are hosting, Crown Point and Chesterton. Both teams went undefeated against the fellow opponents in their sectionals.
And I believe we can look at it before the second game, but I believe they would play each other at the regional. I think that was the draw. Was the Crown Point winner.
Dikembe Shaw with the layup as we get a Strachan Van Til hometown scoreboard update. Valparaiso up 11 on Hobart. Layup for Caden Rhodes. It's now a 34-point game, and a timeout is being burned by Jermaine Boyette and the Wolves. 30-second timeout. We'll stay here.
As we mentioned too, Andrew, you talked about Hammond Central. Coach Boyette will get it turned around.
Oh yes.
As we said, what an athlete and what a mentor for these young guys to look up to, and it takes time. It's going to take a couple of years, but he'll get things turned around, and it's hard. It's hard to come up and compete right away. As we said, these blue bloods of Lake Centrals, the Crown Points, the Munsters that have been doing it forever, and the programs instilled and been there already, and that's what Coach Boyette's trying to get to.
And even look at Clint Swan, the coach he's coaching against tonight. Not all of Crown Point's success came at once when Swan came over here to CP. It took some years to build it up. They had some really good teams with Stevanovic and Galen, but these last 3 years have really been different for Crown Point.
Yeah, again, you also, I was looking at it, and between, Coach Hackett, the Munster coach, and Coach Swan, you got about 950 wins.
A lot of sectional titles, too, and conference titles.
So these guys have been doing it a while and got it figured out, and it's just hard to catch up to that but it takes time. You can't compare yourself to those people. You got to do what's best for Hammond Central, and that might not be the same thing as Crown Point. So it's going to take time, but he'll get him there if he sticks it out. And another different thing is Coach Swan and Coach Hackett. They've been doing it a long time.
Yes,
guys don't do it as long as these guys are doing it. The guys are. It's year round now. It's such a challenge for a coach and a coaching staff because it's 365 days.
And a lot of trial and error with that, too, trying out new things, trying to build around your roster to their strengths and their weaknesses. I mean, between Swan and Hackett, that's 39 years of head coaching at their roles now. That's not even including jobs they had previous to their current ones.
Yeah.
1 minute to go. Crown Point up 34. They score here. They'll have a running clock in the second half. Crown Point starting to unload their bench as Wilson miscommunication with the newly checked in Nathan Truhowski.
I'm telling you, I've been parts of both ends of these games, and even having a big lead, and you put the end of your bench in, it's still you're pulling out your hair like, come on, we're up, coach, we're up 34. I don't care.
And that's a good trait of a coach, in my opinion.
Well, you have a standard. Sometimes you're not playing against the other team. You're playing against the standard that you, like you said, for 39 years combined, and that's what you're playing against. You're not necessarily playing against Hammond Central.
Also, just how many times have you watched a team take their foot off the gas, and that's when they start to run into issues?
Yeah.
Pointer, with the tough take, takes it into the teeth of the defense and gets the roll.
And we've talked about that. They're not going to take their foot off the gas. They might change the personnel, but they're not going to take their foot off the gas.
Lux, after the screen, went for a 3 off the back iron. Rhodes at the buzzer, and he also strikes back iron. The first half has come to a close, and Crown Point has had a balloon of a lead at 32. We have a Commissioner's Corner for you, and we'll be back right before the start of the second half to break it down and get you set for the second half of action. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name.
Your future starts
here.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner. For the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly conversation about Indiana high school sports with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Now for an up-to-the-minute report about what's happening in the constantly changing world of high school sports, here's Commissioner Paul Neidig.
Hey, welcome into the Commissioner's Corner. It's our weekly conversation with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. I'm Brendan King. Paul, great time of year. You just wrapped up the girls' basketball state finals over at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Process kind of resets now with the boys' sectionals getting going, regionals soon, and then the state finals at the end of March. So let's just recap everything we saw from the girls' side. I know great attendance, some good ball games. How'd everything shake out in downtown Indy?
Well, anytime we're with our partners at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, the Pacer Sports Entertainment, it's a great weekend, and it didn't disappoint. You know, we had 8 teams make the pilgrimage in Indianapolis and get to play in the best basketball facility in the country. And so we had the morning session, the 1 and 2A games weren't as close as we would like, but I think there were still competitive games. And so then we took a little break and came back for the 3 and 4A game, and those both were barn burners and really great attendance and good weekend to celebrate girls high school basketball in this great state.
Yeah, obviously things finished up for an undefeated season for Center Grove, which is spectacular. Obviously, we saw what Belmont did in 3A. But, you're giving out the medals, and I know it's a yearly occurrence, but what's it like for you just to see the faces when you present those medals and the celebration ensues? Because that's what's special of everything.
Yeah, it's first of all, I've given out a few medals in my career here at the IHSAA, and it never disappoints. I mean, it's certainly if they put the red one around their neck, they wish it was the blue. But as time moves on, they understand the accomplishment that team had, even though if they were in second place that day. But then to see the people, the student athletes get the medal, but the ones that I really enjoy are the bus drivers and the athletic trainers and the people that are around the team that have probably spent a lifetime within that school community. And today is their day to be able to celebrate with their girls, their coaches, and their town. And so it's really special to see those adults receive those medals also.
Sectional round of the boys tournament well underway. The regional round coming up here soon. And Paul, I know this is your wheelhouse. I mean, the hardwood is where you played on when your high school basketball career, and a lot of memories created. What is it about this time of year? And like you said, everybody plays a role: bus drivers, athletic trainers, student managers. But when you're actually getting to play in these high intense situations, what's that like?
Well, I think that's what you do. I mean, that's why you practice the game, why you love the game. And, you know, there's so many life lessons that people learn through the process of competing that carry them through the rest of their life. You know, I often talk about those lessons being transformational, and they are transformational, but they're also transferable into everything else these student athletes are going to do. And many of them would not achieve great things without the ability to grow up in an education-based athletic system. And I'm so proud of the work that our coaches do and our communities do to help these students have a platform to grow.
You have any specific memories from playing in the sectional round and, you know, just what that's like? Because oftentimes people say sectional is the hardest, section of this tournament to win.
Well, we didn't have a lot of success when I played, but, you know, it was the prep where you got on the bus and you got to go practice at the facility and you had a special meal. Oftentimes people that had played at the school and past coaches, past athletes come back and speak to those sectional team. It's really everything that goes into preparing for that week. And, you know, the game is important, but the memories are just as strong about everything else that goes into that preparation.
It's a lot happening this time of year. Of course, again, the girls basketball state tournament wrapping up. The boys basketball state tournament is just getting into its moments of intensity. And then we've also got girls gymnastics regionals coming up, followed by the girls gymnastics state finals. Those will be on March the 14th at Worthen Arena over at Ball State University. Paul, always love talking hoop. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again next week.
We'll talk to you soon, Brendan.
Thanks for listening to The Commissioner's Corner with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig, and thank you for your continued support of the high schools in your community.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point athletics and say go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Crown Point during the annual lighted nighttime parade downtown. The festivities kick off with vendors downtown at 3 p.m. Tuesday, March 17th. The parade begins at dusk. For more information, visit crownpoint.info/St. Pat's. Andrew Mild with Doug Nelson as you're watching coverage of the 2026 Indiana High School Basketball Tournament on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town. And we have a scoreboard update, and that is courtesy of your neighborhood Strachan Van Til Food Market. Strachan Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Valparaiso Vikings against the Hobart Brickies in Sectional 2, being played over in Porter County, Chesterton. And the Vikings lead by 15. Winner will play for the championship and play either Chesterton or Maryville. Seeing both teams here at Crown Point High School return to the floor. The Bulldogs have a large lead of 44-12. And Doug, we have Rico here today, and he has provided us some unofficial stats. Looking at the numbers, what really stood out to you?
Well, first off, thanks for Rico for helping out tonight.
Yes.
It's always have Rico sightings, kind of like the Haley's Comet. You know what I mean? I figured he'd be doing karaoke somewhere, but no. Just, again, limit the possessions. You know, Hammond Central, as we said, they've only taken 19 shots.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So they're being kind of deliberate when they could early on. But then I think that's why Crown Point kind of sped them up, and they weren't going to sit there and let that happen all night. But, at this point, you got to get volume. And, you want to try to just win this quarter, right?
Right.
Win the first half of the quarter, whatever you want to do, and just keep your kids competing and fighting here. If nothing else, this is a great learning experience.
For me, what really stood out in the unofficial stats was the rebounding. And you had talked about with the Wolves coming out in that zone, they needed to body up some of the Crown Point offensive players, and they just weren't. And Crown Point was creating second chance looks. That's what led to them shooting very well from downtown. 6 for 10 from three-point land, and several of them were after a missed three right before it.
Yeah, we talked about that. They already have a size advantage, right? Crown
Yes.
Point. So, and they're playing aggressively. They're playing engaged, and that's what they're going to have to do every night on the way. From here to the night they're done. But hit the glass, and if you're Hammond, that's got to be a point of emphasis. Win that battle. If nothing else, let's get more rebounds than they do this half. Find something to compete at and make it a battle.
Looking at the scoring column for Crown Point, Kingston Rhodes and Mason Darrow both had 10 points. Dikembe Shaw with 8. Jack Lux hit 2 3-pointers. He's at 6. And for Hammond Central, Jaleel Powell and Samaj Davis both have 4 points. As we go into the final 35 seconds, don't forget that after this game, we'll take a break and then we'll come back for Game 2 of this doubleheader on this Friday night in sectional play, as we'll have Munster and Lake Central, a game that me and Doug are both really looking forward to. Most likely one of those teams will be taking on Crown Point tomorrow for the Sectional 1 championship.
I think that's going to be a rock fight, man. That's
Yes.
going to be a knock them out, drag them out battle.
Munster got off to an incredibly slow start. They've been playing extremely hot as of late, and that Lake Central team got to play on Tuesday, and they absolutely dominated Morton for those 32 minutes.
Yeah, Coach Sexton's doing a nice job at Lake Central. He's got a lot of size.
Mason Darrow out of the break, hits a corner three. And Crown Point leads by 35, so there's that running clock that CP was looking for in the second half.
Yeah.
Mason Darrow with now 13 points.
We talked about how long they're going to keep their starters in. I think they'll play about midway through this quarter and they'll be done for the evening. You just don't want you don't want to be up 35 and had a rolled ankle.
You watched earlier this year when Crown Point was taking on Valpo, and they were in the same predicament. Turnaround shot is off the front of the iron. Where it was, Peters got a head fake, and then a defender fell down on him, and he had to leave the game with an injury.
Yeah.
If Crown Point stays healthy, they are a threat.
Nice rim run there by Molaski. He's got to go strong to the rim. He kind of faded away.
Molaski, the only starter to have not scored thus far, but that's pretty usual for Molaski. He's the last scoring option in the starting five.
Nice
High
shot.
arcing three by Davis.
Nice shot by Davis there over Molaski. That's just not Molaski's job, though. Like you said, he's not the points guy. He's going to set a lot of good screens. He's going to get a lot of offensive rebounds and keep possessions alive.
We need one of those blue-collar players that does everything but score.
I think we've named him the Blue Collar Award winner here.
Dikembe Shaw rains down a three on the head of the Wolves. Can't leave him open. Now 3 of the 5 starters for Crown Point are in double digits in the scoring column.
Yeah, we talk about the balance that they have, and they've been doing that all year, man. It's really impressive.
And Shaw hasn't had to create really any of his shots. It's been a lot of catch and shoot.
But it's in rhythm. You know what I mean?
Always.
It looks smooth.
What a take by Davis. Going into the chest of Dikembe Shaw and throwing it off the window. Darrell hoists one up. Darrell just off to the left. Another look for Crown Point. Darrell power dribble, and Mason Darrell with 15 points in this contest.
Yeah, from Molaski there. Good decision. Molaski could have forced it, you know what I mean, and got a shot up, but he very unselfish and got rid of it.
Pointer spinning. Looks like he might have elbowed Peters. Molaski, a rejection. Crown Point out in front, and Peters went to go for a no-look pass to Shaw, and it might have caught the foot of the Hammond defender.
Yeah.
They're looking to create a highlight moment in this third quarter.
I thought we had one coming there.
Been a few times now where Crown Point's gotten out in front with just one defender and a mistake.
I think that's a testament to Hammond Central, though.
Yes.
They're getting back on D and they're working hard, not giving up.
A steal. Pointer rips it away, and now Peters with a hustle play to get the ball back. Shaw's open. Corner
hands.
3. Off just short. And a foul called down low. Someone bumped Sean Garcia. It's on Mason Darrell. That clock ticking for CP, up 52-17. Starting to see some of the LC and Munster folks work their way into the gym. Doug, when you play these doubleheaders on Fridays, did you want to be the first game or the second game?
I want to be the second game, if nothing else, because that's how you played all year, right? You played a JV first and then a varsity game. Playing the first game, even this game here in a sectional semifinal, kind of felt like a summer league game.
Yes.
The crowd just waiting for something to cheer for, but I wanted the second game and a little more like normal.
Mulaski's on the board.
Yeah, you want to try to keep things as normal as possible. It's hard to do as you advance. You got everybody patting you on the back. You got the media wanting to talk. All of those requirements.
And I feel like it's got to be a little bit easier to scout when you can watch with a clear head. You're not fatigued after playing for 32 minutes.
Yeah.
Mason Darrell's putting on a show, running down the lane and laying it up. He's up to 17 points. It'll be a full timeout. We'll take a 30-second break as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Have you heard? Stratford Mantel was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Stratford Mantel.
Stream is powered by Absolute Power Solutions in Griffith, providing exceptional service for industrial engines, pumps, and generator power systems. For more info, visit AbsolutePowerSystems.com. Absolute Power Systems, powering your business absolutely. 3:45 left in the third. Andrew Mild and Doug Nelson on the Region Sports Network. Thanking you for taking the time to join us and enjoy some high school basketball. Hoosier Hysteria officially kicked off on Tuesday. And for Crown Point, they already sent their girls basketball team down to semi-state before they fell just short of going to Indianapolis. Now this Crown Point team trying to get the state after going 0 for 2 in semi-state the last few years.
Nice take there. But yeah, and of course the Crown Point Wrestlers did very well down in Indy as well. So they've had an eventful winter season for the Bulldogs.
The Wrestlers, it's just been a dynasty.
Yeah, it's kind of a given.
MJ Wilson with a really bad pass. And Rhodes grabs a pass off the top shelf. And that saves a bucket.
Active hands.
Mulaski staying in for Crown Point, and now he's showing off his scoring prowess.
You just can't teach size, Andrew.
No.
He's got good hands for being a big guy, too.
Trust me, I wish I was 6'6". Darrell throws it up. No good. Gets the rebound, drops it down for Rhodes, and Rhodes with a dozen tonight. Missed shot, rebound, and assist for Mason Darrell.
Yeah, I expect Darrell to be out of the game here shortly. And probably him and Mulaski are coming out.
If it was up to him, he'd play all 32 minutes every time he stepped on the floor.
I thought he looked really good tonight, man. He looked engaged. He was playing hard, made good decisions with the ball.
He's got his shot blocked. Davis recovering. Davis trying to go coast to coast, and he will. The one bright spot for Hammond Central has been the play of their senior power forward, as that puts Davis at 11 points. Darrell wide open. Why not?
Yep.
Bury it. Mason Darrell with 20 on the night.
That's what I said. I think he looked really, really engaged tonight and stayed calm. And they're going to be tough out. You got him and Shaw going, the two-headed monster.
And I feel like sometimes when you become a senior and now everyone is looking up to you, you start to become a little bit more passive. And I think that's what happened to Mason Darrell a few times this year. But now that he's really focusing on scoring, it looks like the Mason Darrell that we've seen the last few years.
Well, you've also you might get passive, but you also might try to do too much.
That's true.
I think he was pressing early on, and he's pressing on both ends of the court, and which led to fouls, which led to foul trouble. And as I said, one of his strengths is he plays very emotionally.
Yes.
But sometimes that comes back to get him. So I thought he played very level-headed tonight, and he looked really good. Maybe tonight was the best game I've seen him play this year.
Yeah, he had a good game here at home against Lake Central a few weeks ago. Pass being dropped down, and couldn't make it was Jaden Gee through a couple of defenders. Rhodes defers it to Wilson.
Nice cut.
That's true. Nathan Drahowski, and Hammond Central comes up with a loose ball.
Good hustle.
Ball on the ground. It's Drahowski laying out for it. Two thumbs go up to signal a jump ball, and the possession arrow belongs to Hammond Central.
Love to see that. You're up 40, and you're the first one on the ground for a loose ball. That's the kind of stuff Coach Swan loves.
Now, clock still ticking away. Crown Point up by 42 points in this third quarter. Taylor running the point. Taylor, wild shot. They had no chance of going.
Did a really nice job of his move, but then he didn't finish. Was kind of soft. That might be a push-off. Nope.
Call a hold on Daniels. That was Caden Rhodes going down the lane.
Rhodes kind of put his shoulder down just a little bit. They could have called that the other way.
Caden Rhodes was a real hero for this Crown Point team after his twin brother Kingston went down. Caden was filling in at the point guard role, and that offense did not go out without a hitch.
No, he did very well. That's what I'm saying. He's like the second guy off the bench here, but he'd be a starter in a lot of places.
Oh, looks like a kid might run onto the floor.
A little kid on the floor. Coach Swan, he's a celebrity, man. People want his autograph.
Coach Swan smiling.
Mm-hmm. Might as well be messy out there. Kids running out there trying to get a touch of Coach Swan.
You couldn't really see the kid at the end of the bench as she was being hidden by all the tall Crown Point basketball players. Rhodes,
nice
somehow,
move.
some way, a Derrick Rose-esque take.
I say he's stronger than he looks as well.
And we talked about it. This Crown Point team is so complete, but when you start to add how good their bench is, even if a player gets into foul trouble, you feel confident on who's coming back in.
Here we go.
Wilson is going to elevate.
Oh, don't do that.
He went for a 180 dunk at the buzzer, and even if it went down, I don't think it would have counted. Third quarter ends. Crown Point leads by 44. They're 8 minutes away from going to their third straight sectional championship game. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Andrew Mild with Doug Nelson. Crown Point up 44. MJ Wilson to Drahowski. Drahowski in the post. Can't score it. And he tips it out of bounds, but it was last off of a Hammond Central player. Valparaiso up 8 going into the final 90 seconds of the third quarter. That's a Strachan Van Til hometown scoreboard update. MJ Wilson brings in the inbound pass, and he is now on the board. Don't forget, at the end of tonight's game, we have the Crowd Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the Game, the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game, and the Proud to Be Union Play of the Game, and that is sponsored by Ironworkers Local 395.
Real quick, also, a Strachan Van Til scoreboard update. I know it's not one of our games, but Couts is up on Morgan Township, 34-31.
Well, that's a close one.
At the half. That's number 1 in the state. Coach Melenkoff doing a nice job over at Morgan Township, keeping it close. At Couts, that's a tough one.
And that was a team that you're really confident in. Number 1, undefeated.
Yeah, they got the dudes, too. They got seniors and inside-outside game, and they're going to be a tough beat.
MJ Wilson from downtown and an unfriendly roll. And that's the tough part about this time of year when you're in high school and college. You get to that tournament, you have one chance to win and move on. MJ Wilson with a huge rejection. And last touch by Jack Lux.
That's it. You know, it's one slip-up. And like I was just looking at some clips here of the Plainfield Pike game. I was talking about, there's a full house on a Friday night of sectional. So, I mean, one night you're done.
Yes. And that's why it's Hoosier Hysteria. That's why it's March Madness.
Yeah, one slip-up.
Little shovel pass. The recipient, Reed Kagi. And Kagi has 2 points. The old NC State saying from their miracle season in the 1980s, survive in advance.
Survive in advance.
Don't only worry about the opponents in front of you. And that's what we talked about with Crown Point, is that they can worry about Fishers, but that's a long ways away. They got to win against the team that's in front of them at the current moment.
That regional is going to be tough, like I said. And, Coach Swan's been doing it long enough. He's not going to let his guys look ahead that far.
Kagi went to penetrate and kick it back out and is tipped away.
That's what it goes back to that standard that you talk about, talk about like Nick Saban. He talks about that Alabama standard, that's what they're playing against. Not, it's not always the opponent on the scoreboard. It's the person in the mirror that you're trying to beat, and don't get lazy and don't allow, complacency or anything like that to slip in.
We see it a lot from the top college coaches. Coach K was like that. Even if they were up 30 and someone made a mistake, he was still going to chew them out.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's a long season, Andrew.
It is.
The team that goes down to Indy will play close to 30 games. Crown Point was actually short a couple games on their schedule.
That will be a free layup for Crown Point. That was Liam Bazin.
Bazin played football. That dude is chiseled. He looked like you in high school, Andrew.
Well, I know that his dad is the soccer coach here at Crown Point.
So he's got keys to the weight room. That's obvious. Good stance. Yeah, he's fundamentally. Yeah, it's like when you get to one of these teams, it's how do you separate yourself from the other guy? These guys probably a JV player, right?
Yes, and he's only a freshman.
Yeah.
So he's getting some serious time this year. Anytime Crown Point has a big lead like this, Bazin's the first one to pop off the bench and get some repetition. Crown Point up by 71-23.
You can tell he's a coach's kid. As I watch him play away from the ball, and he throws it away. So that's not him.
That was Reed Kagi with the bad pass.
Yeah, but he's just doing a lot of things right, and those are the guys you need,
Chris Hughes has also come in for Crown Point, and he's also a freshman like Bazin. So now you're getting these freshmen in for the first time in a sectional playoff game, and now you're kind of building towards the future at the same time as trying to win now.
But I think, and that's why Coach Swan is year in and year out very competitive.
Yes.
He's trying to win this game, but in the back of his mind, I guarantee you, either him or his staff, who's also very, very, very good, they're thinking about next year already. You know what I mean? They've already, I guarantee you, with a pizza and a pitcher of adult beverage, they've talked about next year already.
It's that big picture aspect.
Yeah.
I know that Swan's been good at that. Hackett.
Yeah.
That we'll see in game 2 of our coverage tonight from Sectional 1. Getting those guys developed and ready to go so when they pass on the senior group, that the next group can come in and find their own success.
Yep. They just step right up, next man up kind of mentality, and keep the ball rolling.
Kagi is fouled. He'll go to the line.
No, they're going to call it on the ground.
Oh, on the ground, so no shot.
You want to know why they call it on the ground? Because the clock keeps running.
Yes.
If it's a shooting foul, they stop the clock. That's good officiating right there, boys.
Keep this game moving along.
Mm-hmm. He's got dinner reservation.
We have a getting a reservation for the hospitality room somewhere within the Crown Point High School.
Well, we know Rico found it, so
yes.
we're going to have to hunt him down.
That's Hughes scoring for the first time in his varsity career in Hoosier Hysteria.
Christian Hughes. That's a name we're going to be calling for 3 more years, right?
Hughes and Bazin. Maybe the next Shaw and Darrell. And there's a rejection by Kagi. Got his hand on it.
Playing defense, get you on the court. Nice kick out.
Lux.
Nope.
Got the man in the air, and he buries his 3rd three-pointer on the night.
He doesn't quite have the size that his brothers did, but he can shoot it.
Jack Lux listed at 6'1".
Yeah.
Comes from a long line of pretty good basketball players.
Yeah, the green light. When he steps in the gym, he's in the zone.
A running floater, no good, and a foul. Tyrese Turner was harmed, and they put the 2 fingers up to let everyone know Turner will get to shoot some free throws. Clock stopping at 51.7 seconds. You know what, Doug? This might be a good time to start handing out some of those awards. First one is the Crown Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. Crown Company's The Business Professionals. And, Doug, I'm going to go with Mason Darrell in this game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like I said, he looked engaged. He looked locked in tonight. He looked really good, and they're going to need him tomorrow night and beyond. And he was really focused and stepped up tonight, so I think that's a great pick.
Next up, the blue-collar player of the game. That is sponsored by Boilermakers Local 374. Earn what you learn with Boilermakers Local 374. And I really like Samaj Davis for this one, Doug. He was the one bright spot for a Hammond Central team that really struggled against this really good powerhouse that's been Crown Point this season.
Yeah, that's a good pick, too. He did some really good things, and like you said, he was the bright spot tonight for Hammond Central, and he's got a, I don't know if he's going to play beyond, but he's a tough kid and something to build around.
And then finally, the Proud to be Union play of the game, presented by Iron Workers Local 395. For more information on the apprenticeship program, check out ironworkers395.com. And I'm not sure which one we're going to go with here. There's so many you could choose from for Crown Point. There wasn't a big dunk, but I would say that your plays of the game was their constant offensive rebounding, setting up threes. They went on that big run in the first.
Yeah.
And that really just put the game to bed.
Yeah, I agree. I think they set the tone early, didn't they?
Yes.
We're going to hit the glass hard. We're going to compete. And we're going to play hard while we're out here. And they started that early. And, again, that set the tone for the entire 32 minutes.
Crown Point wins by a final of 76-24. They'll have a chance to win their 3rd straight sectional championship game tomorrow. For Hammond Central, they will finish the season at 4-19, losing 8 in a row. And for Jermaine Boyette, he will go into the offseason, and hopefully Boyette will come back next year with a new group, and they can start finding some more wins. As you said, you have your vote of confidence in Boyette to get this Wolves program turned around.
Again, what an example for the young guys to look up to, and Coach Boyette, Hammond Hall of Fame, and again, to listen to what he's got to say, and they're gonna build for the future.
Well, that is going to do it for Game 1. Don't forget that we have Game 2, the Munster Mustangs and the Lake Central Indians, starting in about, not sure how much time, but just keep an eye out for it. And we're looking forward to being with you for Game 2 of our double header. We'll step aside, get ready for the new stream as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.